Mr. Ross Davenport.
Davenport, just like the place called Devon, and it's on the ocean, Charlie. So it's Devonport. It's very simple.
Always tell me the same thing, man. But I asked my phone, can you I put your name and I just asked the phone to pronounce it, and she said Davenport.
It's because she only knows me as a piece of furniture. That's why.
Okay. Oh, you're a piece of furniture. Okay, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm obviously disappointed I didn't get to watch any live rugby this weekend. I had to.
We missed you.
Work my first solo pro soccer game Saturday night, so I spent all of Saturday prepping for that. I don't think I'd have been in good shape if I'd have been at rugby for 6-7 hours and then try to do a game. So I was suitably rested, and it went okay. But the first championship weekend I've missed in a long time.
It was great, man. It was great.
I've heard only good things so far. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute with our guest.
Yes.
Welcome to episode 31 of Talking Florida Rugby. My name is Ross Davenport, ref assigner, fatback, soccer broadcaster apparently. And joining me this evening, as always, is my esteemed producer, Charlie Velasquez of rugbyfl.com, the best local rugby site in the country, if not the world. And he's leaving me already. My producer has left the building.
No, I'm here.
Charlie was in attendance at Charlie. Well, one thing, you can't pronounce Devonport, but you also can't pronounce Titusville. Tell us how you
God, I know. Titusville.
No, that's not how you pronounced it earlier.
Well, my Spanish brain has to translate in real time, man, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Listen, I find it entertaining. So Titusville.
Yeah, it's a French. It's probably a French word. Okay.
The Ville part is definitely French. I think Titus is something to do with the Rockets, I would assume. But it was apparently everybody had fun. It was a shame to have it in two separate locations, but due to COVID, that was how we had to do it. So the men and the women were up in Titusville, the juniors as well as the U23s, all in Jupiter. We're going to chat with Pancho Lopez, who was in attendance. Charlie, you were at Titusville.
Correct.
Doing taping there, and Pancho was in Jupiter running the refs there. Before we get to that, I don't have any 3 quick things today, but I want to wish Lindenwood women will be taking on life for the D1A championship this weekend. So good luck to Morgan Freeman, former FAU, Fort Lauderdale Ruckus, Fort Miami player. So good luck to her, as she is the vice captain of the Lindenwood team. They've beaten life, I think, twice this season. So hopefully they'll beat them 3 times and bring home the title. So let's get to, we got a lot of things to talk about. We got lots of highlights. Charlie's got some extended highlights today. He's extended things. It's been a while since that's happened, Charlie.
Well, it's a lot of work because you have to watch all the game, you know.
You didn't get the joke, but we'll bring in Pancho.
Yes. So let's just quickly explain just how the layout of today is going to be. We're going to talk with Pancho. We were hoping for Evan to his right, because he was at Jupiter and he couldn't make it. So we invited Pancho, who was the head referee and a friend of the podcast. We also
I think that means now that Pancho is the head of the FRU. I'm told, because Evan didn't show up today, that excludes him.
He's the new king. So he's going to be the new king of the
FRU. King Pancho will join us. Yes,
sounds great. And we also invited Carrie, which apparently could not make it either, but she may show up. If not, I have a little interview I did with her at the end of the. So let's bring Mr. Pancho Lopez.
Look at Pancho. Are you at the country club, Pancho? I'm not. Or is that your backyard?
Backyard.
Oh, look at that fancy backyard. Palm trees and I'm going to assume you don't manicure that hedge, although you are Mexican.
No,
so
actually,
Actually,
my gardener is here right now. I'm hoping he doesn't make too much noise. So you'll see him in
why is
the
your gardener
background
there
right
at 7:05 p.m.?
let's get to it, Ross. Let's get to it.
I want to apologize for the Mexican joke, first of all, but Pancho is used to the banter from now.
I absolve you of all culpa tuya.
Thank you.
You're fine. You're fine.
But let's talk rugby. Pancho, you were in attendance at Jupiter on Saturday, excuse me. Let's get your point of view on how things went from a referee perspective, from a rugby perspective, from just an overall perspective. Give us a view from 30,000 feet of how things went at the
let me tell you,
U23s.
Let me tell you, I'm here the replacement for Evan.
Yes, you're now the president of the FRU.
I couldn't get a red hair wig to go with a replacement, but to start off, really, in mentioning Evan, great job. I mean,
yes, he does a very good job of organizing events. He does.
We're used to the huge events, so these were like too many events. Evan was in attendance at Jupiter, but it looked beautiful. I mean, we parked, walked to the field, everything was set up, everything was marked. There were no doubts about what was happening. I mean,
good.
It was packed with kids and parents, and everybody found their way around. I, as a referee, got no complaints. We ran the assignment perfectly. It was just very smooth sailing the whole day, no issues whatsoever. As referee, and I guess a little bit as not organizers, but we were like the officials there, right? We had no complaints,
right.
And everything ran smooth. Beautiful place, great parking. The grass was beautiful. The posts were okay. I'd have to.
So as per usual with Florida Rugby, the posts were just okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were good. Everything looked so good that I didn't have to really look into it. The details, everything looked good. You looked like you felt like you walked into a rugby pitch. So I'm just really glad that we can have this kind of quality going on in Florida Rugby, from organization all the way to the games were great. The kids had a great time. They looked like they played really good rugby. We kept on putting one notch up all the way to the U23s.
Right.
Just very, very happy with the whole day. Beautiful day of rugby. We spent about 10 hours there, but it was all well worth it.
Excellent.
You know what is missing, I think, from these events that would be really great?
Ross.
Something.
Ross.
Well, that's for one, yeah. But no, seriously,
there
would be some kind of event at the end, so people want to stay. Like a little. I understand that this year, of course, everything was a little bit limited, but it would be pretty cool to have people stay to the end, because what happens is, as the day goes on, whoever played just takes off. So the last game, which is typically the most important one, it's the one that has less people. I don't know, maybe some kind of a music concert, something, and have a lot of food and things for the kids to do, so parents can stick around.
Yeah, barbecue.
And
it sounds like you want to organize this, Charlie. I think that should be your job.
No, but listen, it's really nice.
Charlie always has these great ideas, but who's going to do it?
Listen, Pancho,
really?
You know how many years we've been hearing from Charlie about how he's going to start his own club?
Hey, well,
12 years now.
Well, here's an idea that we had, and here it is, Pancho. So shut up. Okay. So that would be nice to stay once, because that's a really nice time to talk to people, to drink something, and just get we're in Florida. We can be there until midnight. It's not going to get cold.
Well, it's a long day for the kids. Remember, the kids are subject to what the parents decide, right? They're driven there.
What's the problem with the kids?
Parents have other things to do. It's a long day.
Yeah. Okay. But you can relax. I understand people have to drive and all that, but it's just an idea. So Thank you, Pancho.
Yeah, it's you guys gotta make it before 8:30. Andrea already called me. He's like, Pancho, hang up as soon as you can because these guys have to have dinner early. So
yes.
Listen, so great thing at Jupiter. I talked to Roy the night before, and he said about the same up there in Titusville. So just really glad that we can put up a really solid show despite the virus. So congratulations to everybody involved, and thank you very much for all the opportunities. Can't wait till we start sevens, really.
Oof. Well, it should be soon. The high school's starting in less than 2 weeks.
Just around the corner, yes.
The high school start May 8th. They're going to have 2 tournaments before My Surf and Sevens on June 5th. As part of a series, of course, it really depends how the Jaguares situation is going and if these teams have enough players. With the Jaguares situation, until they sort of cut down their rosters, which I don't think they do until after the 8th. I might be wrong, but no, it should be a fun summer, Pancho, and I'm sure you'll be a big part of it, refereeing out there and get you out there on the 7th circuit for those 14-minute dashes, which you're great at.
Yeah.
And Charlie, what was your opinion on Titusville before we let go of Pancho?
Well, you know what? Instead of me talking, let me play a little interview I did from Carrie.
Okay.
So,
Carrie O'Malley, our president.
Pancho, thank you very much. Say hi to your gardener.
Yes, he's doing an amazing job back there.
Yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay. No.
7. Tell him to go home and eat some dinner. It's 7:12. Come on.
Hey, those guys
make the 8:30 cutoff.
We'll see you around, Pancho. Thank you very much.
All righty, guys.
Really
Good to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Punch.
So let's get what's this? Cut down.
Chris was saying the Jaguares cut down is this weekend, so there may be a few available players for that tournament on the 8th. So that's good to see. But obviously, some of the elite players may not be playing.
Let's listen to the president of the Florida Rugby Union that did a great job on Saturday, and we'll just hear from her directly, okay?
Yeah.
Carrie O'Malley, president of the Florida Rugby Union. Great event. Congratulations. Everything ran very smoothly, a very nice venue. And we made it this season.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So the venue was you've asked me about it a whole bunch of times. It's been like in flux because we couldn't book too far out because we didn't know what was going to happen with COVID. But we had Evan driving around Brevard County, I think it's like a few times because we wanted to do it in this location, kind of move it up a little bit further north than it's been.
That's fine. You can always travel a little bit for the finals. I mean, it's not a big deal. And I'm glad we made this season, right? Because when we started, I personally was a little bit, I'm not sure we're going to make it.
I don't know. I thought we were going to have to shut things down. Yeah. We were operating on this is going to be the plan, and we might have to have another officers meeting and review data, and it worked out. So I think people are happy that they got to play.
Yeah. So maybe you should, do another year of presidency because this one went so well.
Well, I have one more left. It's a 2-year term. No, this is no one's rid of me yet. No one is rid of me yet.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it's a 2-year term, and then we.
Okay. Yeah. And do you know how things went in Jupiter?
I was actually just asking. I don't know because not all their matches are done.
I know Game of Thrones and the game E31 was going on right now.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I haven't gotten. I know that I think Palm Beach under 23s were up at halftime, and that Orlando under 23s had a yellow right before half. But that's the last update I got.
Great day of rugby. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming out and doing the film. I tried to post, when people were scoring and stuff, but it was hard to kind of. Yeah. Well, I was like, we were trying to run the scoreboard because I had as a player, I want to know the time.
Let me tell you, that scoreboard thing is beautiful. Oh my God, it's so nice to be able to follow, especially when we have these close games that you have to be thinking, if they score a try and they convert or they don't,
It's also nice too when there's a sin bin and the player, those players, they're
you guys were running
and I'm
the
like,
10 minutes there?
Yeah, and I'm like, can you do math? Because you minus 10 from then, and you're good. 10 minutes. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to the referees, especially. think the referees did a great job, and Evan and Raul. So Raul's actually a thankless volunteer. He comes out and sets up the posts and helps with the field lining the day before. And it's already gone, but we don't have a chance to thank him.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll see you guys on Monday on the podcast. Maybe she will drop around there.
We'll see. Yeah, still have classes.
Okay, in the kids. But hopefully, see you Monday. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carrie.
There you go. And I just want to show this picture. This is Carrie. Like, she was probably the first one there and the last one to leave, putting away stuff. So that says
that's a great job. I love how she thinks she's only got 1 year left, Charlie. She's not going anywhere unless you run for president.
I was so confused because this was her last term, but yes, it's a 2-year thing.
She said that before, Charlie. But no, great to see her out there. And great that we had a scoreboard.
That was amazing. So listen, now we can go into the games. Just so everybody knows, we're going to follow the division order. Men's D2, women's D3, 4, 23, and 19. So
we're not going to do the 16s because they really didn't have a final. Okapi just kind of played a motley side, so we're just going to stop at 19s. All right, let's bring in
the
first game of the podcast we're going to talk about tonight.
Wait. Sorry, Jose. I'm going to kick you out. Russ, don't we have a couple of sponsors we need to acknowledge?
Yes,
and we're so excited
about the championship.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sorry, Jose.
If you own a business, or if you have a 401k or need a 401k Florida, their business is to tackle your retirement plan needs and goals. Their team has the expertise in the field of retirement plans, both big and small. I think Jose's got to be close to retirement now, Charlie. He's getting up there. If your retirement plan hasn't been reviewed in a while, consider a complimentary consultation by 401k of Florida. Visit 401kfl.com to kick things off. Massive thanks to Mick Graham of Brevard Red Eyes for sponsoring all of these last few episodes. This is his last episode sponsoring us. If you're interested in sponsoring us over the summer, we have a potential sponsor for one spot down the bottom there, but we do have room for two. So reach out to Charlie or myself if you would like to help out. And our other sponsor at the bottom right-hand corner there is Flash, the leading rugby equipment company in South America, as well as the proud equipment supplier of the most important Argentine teams, including the 4 UAR founder teams, the Buenos Aires Rugby Union teams, and 3 of the last 4 Argentinian champions, the Hindu Club and Belgrano Athletic Club. There are also several other teams totaling 60 teams in the home of the Pumas. They also sponsor the national teams of Uruguay and Brazil, as well as some of the teams competing. You like that, Charlie? Competing in SLAR.
And I can say Titusville, okay?
Titusville, yes. The Superliga Americana de Rugby, which obviously includes, they also sponsor our favorite SLAR team, Peñarol.
Oh, of course.
Vamos
the Manjas.
The Manjas, yes.
The Manjas.
Flash have been in the South American market for over 30 years, always focused 100% on rugby. They also now are intending to become a key player in the U.S. and Canadian markets. So they supply a copy, Key Biscayne Rats, as well as other teams here in the state, including the U23 champion. I'm going to lift my shirt up here. Palm Beach U23s, otherwise known as the FAU Owls. Congratulations to everybody. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Flash's customer value proposition is unique. They claim to be the only rugby brand created and managed by ruggers. They provide you with everything a team needs. That means everything. Kits, balls, post pads, sportswear, apparel. And they're also the only rugby company that owns its own manufacturing facilities in Argentina and Paraguay, which means complete control over their supply chain. For those of you that have tried to order stuff from overseas, it's a pain. They also have a large stock of their basic products here in the U.S. in their 2 current warehouses in California and Georgia. So if you'd like to check out their full range of products, please give them a visit at their e-commerce platform for the U.S., flash-sports.com, as Charlie has down the bottom right there. Or just give them a call at 831-205-9753. I've ordered my balls for Surfing Sevens. They should be here in the next few weeks. They will be on sale as well. We're going to use those balls at our tournament on June 5th in West Palm Beach. If you're interested in participating in our tournament, please let me know. Spots may fill up quickly. We're not sure exactly how many slots we're going to be allowed to have there. Hopefully, we'll be allowed to have a full. We've had 32 or so before. So if you're interested in playing in the Surfing Sevens, please let me know. You can go to surfinsevens.com. I'm throwing that plug in there too. SURFIN7s.com. All right, Charlie, let's get to the business here. Let's get down to business.
Mr. Brian Vince from Naples. How are you?
Oh, Naples, Charlie. How many times are we going to say this?
I don't know. These are the men. I don't know.
He might be in Naples. I don't know. He might be not, but he might be in Estero or Fort Myers or one of those other little towns over there. But he's not from Naples Hammerheads. He's from Swiffle Hammerheads, Southwest Florida Hammerheads.
Okay. What about this guy?
And there's our soon-to-be retiring Jose Bermudez. Welcome, Jose.
And we have this guy.
What's in the background behind you, Jose? I can't really see what that is in the glass cabinet there.
That's my liquor cabinet. Maybe I'll.
The most important thing in the house. We just lost you. Charlie kicked you all out.
No, I'm trying to put him on.
What's on the other side there?
Hey, you know what?
Oh, look at this. This
is some Welsh whiskey that was gifted to me by Connor Christie. So I'll be drinking this tonight.
Oh, it's the window behind you. It looks like a cabinet. I thought maybe that was the Trident's trophy cabinet. 5 state championships in a row. It's getting old. It's getting old, Jose. It's getting boring, but I'm sure it isn't for you guys.
I gotta give a special shout out to the FRU for finally giving us decent trophies. But unfortunately, we had a little bit of a mishap, and it broke during our social.
That was a rough night, huh? That was a rough night.
As long as the trophy's the only thing that broke.
Absolutely.
That's fine. Well, Jose, tell us about Charlie's going to play the extended highlights. We've got extended highlights for you people.
You're really excited about the extended highlights, Ross.
I am. I love some extended highlight action. There's Haley Slaughter, who joined the crew in the middle of the season. She was a little COVID concerned at the beginning of the year, but she came in towards the end, and obviously being one of the premier refs here in the Southeast, she got the final game. Well, Jose, talk us through this game. We obviously knew it was going to be a tight matchup. It ended up being an 8-point game.
You know,
tell us about it.
Just like how we predicted. I mean, it was going to be a very difficult game. I mean, Naples had a great season. Their forwards were very tough. I mean, as you can see in the match, it was mostly our forward packs playing against each other. Later on in the game, we gave some opportunity for some of our backs to really kick it off. But we started the game early with a kick. We got a penalty. I think she's about to call a penalty, and we went for points, which is something that we normally don't do. But we were able to get on the scoreboard early and, start the game. Start the game in a positive note. So,
Brian, here's the kick here. Who's kicking for you here, Jose?
That is Fede. He is coming to us from the Key Rats. It's his first year with the Tridents.
Nice.
So yes, sir. So
the pipeline is getting going here. The Key Rats to Tridents.
FIU also, right?
Yes, true. They did not have it. They sort of had a team this year.
Him and his brother joined us this year, and they've both been excellent players. Gonza actually started with the backs, and we moved them into our forwards, and he played as flanker, and just a great hitting machine. I mean, he was brilliant. Over there, you see our captain Australia, our number 8, who is on the screen. He was requested by Andrea Davenport to be on the show today. So,
he is a good-looking lad, is Callum. As long as he keeps his shirt on, I'm okay. Brian, let's get to Brian. Brian, were you at this game? Were you at the game? I didn't. I obviously wasn't there. So
with the wife and kids, they had a great time with the rugby all day on Saturday.
So how did this game go from the Naples point of view? We see a few conversations with Haley Slaughter. I know there was some cards issued in this game. Was discipline an issue, or was it just the next level up? Everybody kind of stepping their game up, including the referees, and really cracking down on things that perhaps people were getting away with during the regular season.
That was a result of being offsides in the back line on a scrum down in their area.
So just a repeated offense. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're proud of our guys. They worked hard all season. Got great leadership from Tom Doman, the FGCU boys that worked with us, the U23, and then helped us out with the first side. Were great. We were really proud of the effort in the scrums on Saturday and line out. I felt like we won the set piece. No, I gather that Callum would say the same thing. Just took advantage of our opportunities that we gave them. Too many decisions that weren't made the right way. A couple bounces of the ball that went the wrong way as well. That was a nice steal.
It was Tori Williamson getting stripped.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, listen, we were talking to Jared from Daytona earlier. When you get to the final, everything tightens up a little bit, right? The pressure even if it's just a Florida State final, the pressure's there, the butterflies are there, and some people deal with it better than others.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been 2 years since we faced off against Naples, and certainly this was something that we were anticipating playing them last year, but unfortunately COVID hit us bad. But always a tough match against them, and I think they're used to being in the finals, and they always give us a hell of a match, and so it's one of those things that this could have gone either way, and I think our guys were just very persistent. We went there hungry. And we ended up pulling through, but we made an unfortunate decision. I think as we were reaching halftime, we kicked instead of going for points once again. We went for the line out and ended up turning it over to Naples and gave them a scoring opportunity. So that was a big mistake on our part, and we kept it a close game.
That was a big kick. That was a big kick there from your 10. That was the game ended up being an 8-point game, which I know Naples missed a late conversion as well that perhaps would have turned it into a 1-score game. But go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just that was a great example of a driving line out or driving maul and line out. I think we had 3 good ones. Wish we had opportunity to go forward more. There were a couple special plays that we ran off of the line out, and maybe just to go forward drive would have been a better decision. But
yeah, listen, no regrets. Callum, while we have you in here, how do you think things went? You were the one on the pitch. Talk about the game from your point of view.
Yeah, going back to what Brian just said, I think they were pretty good in the maul and the lineouts. If they had done a few more of them, we might have been in a bit more trouble. But the rest of the game, I think we held up pretty well. Defense was solid. We ran hard. We passed well. We made meters. Less penalties than we've had in the last few games. Last few games were a little bit concerning, but we held our composure and everything was pretty good. But it was good to come away with a win. But at the same time, their boys hit pretty hard, and I'm feeling it today. So.
Yeah, that tells you a lot. How was the pitch? I noticed the posts in front of the post. Did that shorten it by quite a bit? I mean, looking at the camera, it was probably still a good 100-yard pitch, but you can see how close there the 22 and the 10 are. Did that affect either team, you think?
I don't think so. I didn't pay much mind to it. Like normally I'd notice it, but I didn't pay too much mind. The field was pretty nice to play on. I think the only thing I noticed was one set posts were like this and the other one were like this, so one made up for the other.
That's Florida Rugby. We got to have posts like that.
Yeah, I get you. It's not Australia or anything anymore. So. But Fede's kicking. I just want to make a shout out to Fede. First year in, and he's kicking he's probably missed 2 kicks all year, and it's just from the sideline, like you saw earlier. He's just a kicking machine.
Yeah, that ended up being a big play. We'll get to that kick from in front of the posts that Brian's team missed. I think it was sort of a rush drop kick, Brian. I'm not sure what happened. It almost like he shanked it, and then that obviously led to it being an 8-point game, which meant you had to score twice. But let's talk about Naples as a club, Brian. How are you feeling? As obviously, you had some success a few years ago, a good period of winning state titles before Trident's got on this roll. But where's the club standing numbers wise, and just overall? You think you've been there for a lot of these years. So how's things looking in Naples? Obviously playing well,
going on 30 years. But I'd like to start off with the U19. JR, Dan, Colin, and Victoria did a great job putting together a group of kids that really played hard, trained hard, and delivered results in the field and had fun. We're excited for them to have a great season next year as well. They'll come back even better. Our group, nothing's perfect. We're working hard. We got a good group of core leaders, I think, on the field. Tom Doman, our captain, Johnny, Lindsay, Quintus, our other prop, did a great job this past Saturday, and he has consistently. He's going back to Pretoria, South Africa in a couple months. We've been happy to have him. He and our fly half are here from South Africa for the season. But Dan Creel, Torrey Williamson, Gunnar, the tall, lanky guy you saw playing well Saturday. Give him some credit. Jocelyn and Jude played fantastic, and he's been great for us all season when he's had opportunity to play. He played for the Ugandan national team. He and his sister and Kevin, who you just saw there get ran by, also played for Ugandan national team. We're excited to have them here. Give recognition to Jeremy Ray, our treasurer, and K2 worked on match details hard all season. Did a good job. We had started off with the U23 from FGCU, D4 side, and worked hard to fill those matches all season. We're just excited for a trip in 2 weeks. We're going to NOLA to watch Cam Dolan, and we've got a game against our D2 team before that. I think that's May 7th. But we're traveling up Friday, team dinner, play, watch Saturday. Should have a great time.
Good stuff. And I want to thank you for giving us Kyle Ventaventer to the referee ranks. I know he's been a very impressive young referee, and I hope he continues to do that and represent you guys well with the whistle.
We wish he would have started after this match.
Yeah, I know.
Playing, but he's a great young guy, and we're happy to have him join us. He actually came with Quintus, the number 1 from Pretoria, a couple of years ago. And,
good stuff. Yeah, listen, the more South Africans you can have on your team, the better. Jose, let's go back to Tridents now, 5 in a row. Where do the Tridents go from here? Do we perhaps get a youth program going down there, a women's? We've got Fort Miami, but maybe there's enough people in Miami for a women's team. Where do the Tridents go from here?
You know what? I'm seriously considering starting a sailing club.
There's the money down there for that.
And just take a break from things, but certainly, this has been probably, I've been an officer of the club for several years now, been part of all 5 championships, but this year in particular was very difficult for everybody. And, I had, what's beautiful about it all is that I think we are all stronger as a union because the communication between club presidents and the FRU, we were all fighting just to make rugby happen this season. So it was an abridged version of a season. I think, we were able to keep healthy the entire season because, we only had those 6 games in the regular season. Didn't have much of an opportunity for friendlies. So I think in perspective, I'm incredibly proud of the commitment that these guys have made. The entire team being led by Callum Windsor, our coach, Dimitri, as well, who couldn't make it today. You know why? But
we'll get him on one of these times.
We'll get him eventually. He's
an elusive. He's a typical 305. You can't find him when you need him.
You know what? We pay him too much to appear on the field anyway and coach us. So being on the show, I think his publicist doesn't allow him to be on. But certainly, I'm proud. It was a hard-fought season. We started off against Palm Beach, and we were missing almost our entire front row in that particular game. We had to pull some guys off, to dust off their cobwebs and put their boots on. And we had a very tough loss in the beginning of the season, but that showed what we needed to do to improve and work our way up. And really, I commend all the old boys that came out and assisted in fixing some of the issues. And I commend those players. The player of the game for our match was Hiro Otani, who in that particular game, we had too many backs in that game against Palm Beach, and we're like, let's try him out at flanker. And we discovered a tsunami of a player. This guy is just amazing, and he was player of the match in the finals. And Hiro is the heart and soul of the team. One of the quietest guys, but the nicest guy, always a gentleman, and he really deserves that man of the match. I think I wish we could have given it to three players, but it was humbling to see the boys perform the way that they did. A true testament of their commitment and appreciation to our staff.
Good stuff. Well, as both as you mentioned, it does take a village for a team to be successful. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that make it work, and I'm sure you're thankful for them as well. And hopefully, we'll see you guys competing.
Have a drink.
That, Charlie?
Pour one for me, Jose.
Hey, I want to drink quickly because I think the cup has a hole in the bottom. So,
hey, listen.
One more thing, Ross. Just
recognition
to Ian Oddendorf and Paul Riccello. They coached their hearts out all season. They did a good job getting our guys to this point. Recognition to them as well.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think both of your teams will be in contention again next year, hopefully without any COVID, and it'll be a nice smooth sailing. Hopefully we'll see both of you as well during the summer for some sevens fun. Well, gentlemen, thanks a lot. Appreciate you joining the show tonight. Thanks for helping out all season. Those of you that have been on multiple times, Brian, great to see you as always.
Thank you, Brian.
Our guys are only penicillin shots. They're not used to COVID shots. So.
Hey, Jose, before I let you go, remember I suggested that maybe we had, the Super Championship game. Have you thought about that? Playing against
Charlie, give me a break. I want to rest. I want to travel. I want to do something other than rugby for a bit.
Okay, that's a no. Okay.
Charlie Velasquez Cup coming to you soon. Charlie Velasquez is going to organize it all.
Big prizes. Okay, thank you very much, guys. We have to run. We'll have you on during the summer, I'm sure.
You predicted Naples winning, so you owe me a drink.
I did. I took the loss. It was a close game at least. I took a loss in a few games, but listen, you got to pick one side or the other. I'm not picking a draw in every game.
Shout out to Naples. Great guys, great gentlemen, and really hard-fought match.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
La manito.
Okay.
All right. One down.
One down.
6 to go.
Now we have
5 to go. Sorry, 5 to go because we're not doing the 16. So let's get to the women.
I can't really count right now. So
Orlando and Tampa with a rematch of their matchup earlier in the season. They were by far the two best teams throughout the regular season, and the final lived up to its billing. It was a 3-point win by the Orlando Griffins women. So let's bring in our folks from both teams. We do have some video. We didn't have any official video, but we do have some sideline video.
I'm not sure if we have anybody from Orlando.
Oh no! What a shame. All right. Well, we need to recognize the ones that do show up. So we have James Walcombe-Clark, the Tampa women coach, looking suave as always, and we have Sam Black, the captain of Tampa women. As Charlie's going to get the video that we do have rolling. We're not showing all 40 minutes, Charlie. I hope.
Oh.
I don't have that much time this evening. As much as I'd love to see a close game like that. So we have some shots from the sideline, a little low down. We'll have to get him a ladder, Charlie, next time.
I did offer them the ladder for the record. They did not want to.
We could send you our drone footage as well. We have it from the sky if you really want to look.
Oh, fun!
That would have been great.
We love some drone footage. It's always an interesting point of view, as long as nobody's kicking the drone out the sky. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this game, James. You guys got off to a great start.
Yeah, I think we came out swinging. Really, I think there was a lot of hype internally for this game. We were ready to come out, play some rugby, have some fun, and really just, I guess it was a little bit of a redemption for last game. We lost by a solid 20 points.
Yeah.
And I think we had worked really hard. We had 8 practices, worked really hard to make some changes and really kind of re-up our game, and I think that showed on the field.
Definitely, yeah. Orlando has some big girls. What was your game plan going into this one? Did it differ from the last one in response to that loss?
Yeah, we made a couple of changes. We actually put Sam was playing 12 originally in the first game, and moved Sam to 9 and switched in a different player at 12. Made a couple of slight tweaks in the forwards. Did a lot of scrum work. Orlando got a big pack, big strong scrum. And then we actually did a lot of work on trying to manage the Orlando game plan, which is typically a lot of heavy forward hitting. And then once they kind of tire out the other team, they start to swing it through their backs. Our plan was to shut down their forwards as best we could, whilst maintaining our energy, and then keep the ball in our hands as much as possible, and charge it up the field with our normal state of play when we have the ball in hand.
Was there really a turning point in the game when things started to go the other way? Was it a fitness issue or just substitution, effective subs, or just the way the game flow was going?
I would say, I mean, the game was pretty even at halftime. I think we were 14-14 at halftime. Both teams were really going at it. As the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think Orlando really came out storming. They really wanted to come back, and I think we had a good clash. And really, the change in the game happened. It was the final five. We were up 21-19 in the final 5 minutes, and through refereeing magic or something, whatever, we managed to concede 5 penalties in 2.5 minutes. Oh man! Which allowed Orlando to score their winning try for the game. And then once the restart happened, we had about 45 seconds left in the game, and obviously we went into touch within their about 10 meters out from the line, and that was it.
Let me tell you, I think the last thing you want to have in the last 5 minutes is the opposing team in your 5-meter lines, because things get just crazy, right?
And I'll say this is
we lost your captain. She
dipped out. I should probably be back. I will say this. We have literally a clip of the last 3 minutes, or 3 critical minutes of the game. It's the first 3 minutes of the last 5 minutes. And you are watching just what I would call just absolute brutal body-to-body rugby. Orlando is slamming up within the 5-meter line, and Crew is knocking them back over and over and over again. No team was given a quit. You know, it was just body-to-body contact. And, you know, you watch the video, you know, for better or for worse, we conceded on that line 3 direct penalties and actually got a yellow card on that line. I won't say more about that. I'll just leave it as that. I don't necessarily agree.
No, listen, I mean, I think this is why we always encourage video, right? Because video it's not just educational for the players; it's also educational for the referees as well. We've had a ton of times this season where we've gone back over games with referees and said, you know, this is where. This is where I see issues, and I think every ref will learn from that. Again, I haven't watched the game, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the rub. At the end of the day, it is the game went how the game went. I think we fell on the bad side of that this time round. But I think at the end of the day, you can't fault anybody who was playing on the pitch. I think everyone played with extreme heart. I mean, when you watch this game, you just see Orlando. Like I said, they came out. I thought really the second half they were going to start slowing down. But they came out even tougher, put us on the back foot for a minute, and then you see the game was fairly even on either side of the field. I think both teams had good possession. I think the Orlando backs came up extremely hard on defense, put a lot of pressure on our backs to get our moves off, and then the forwards were just back and forth. I think it was the meter was leading Orlando Tampa forwards the whole way. I'm really proud of how we kind of turned our scrum game around. I think the first time we played Orlando, they've really dominated the scrum, our scrum as well. And I think this game, they were fairly even. I think we actually turned over a couple of Orlando scrums, which, you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't even expecting us to do that. I thought we'd hold our ground, but I think the players just came out wanting this so badly. There was nothing else going through their heads. I think Sam does a fantastic job of getting them set up. I don't have any involvement in the game day warm-up thing. I turn up with a couple of beers and try not to lose my mind on the sideline. Sam
you were having a hard time. I noticed.
I'm as much as I try not to be, I am extremely vocal on the sideline. I try to rein it in. I try to make sure my energy is focused in the right direction. But I'm a fan as well as a coach at the end of the day. I love watching the game.
It makes great pictures, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, you've already got my good side. No, I've seen them. You've got my good side.
Well, let's talk to Sam. She was on the pitch during this match. Obviously, a great season despite this result. Sam, talk about perhaps how proud you are of your team and the development this season, and clearly become one of the contenders for this Florida State title every year now.
Well, that's an easy question. I'm super proud of the team. Every game this season, we got better and better, and by the end, you could just tell that we're playing team rugby. The tries were all team tries. We were really playing for each other. It was all about sisterhood. And it was just really hard, not only to lose, but just to end the season and not have any more games together until next year.
Well, we can always play some sevens. Hoping to have a women's division at Surfing Sevens. But talk about what James brought to the team and how he's helped you get to where you guys are.
Sure. I touched on it last podcast a little bit, but since we got coach, practices have been more disciplined. Dedication has gone up. The talent has gone up just because we're all looking to, we're trying to meet James's expectations. And so what results from that is just a really strong team, a really strong roster, and then a lot of competition for those spots.
That's what you always need, that competition. You talked about the sisterhood. This is one part of rugby that I always try to explain to people, that it really is the ultimate team game. You can go off on a run and have nobody in support. And if people don't like you, especially like, oh, off they go again, I'm not going to bother chasing them. But it is the ultimate team sport. You can't do anything in this game without the rest of your teammates. And I think Tampa really steps up to the plate this season and turn themselves into a force, not just in the men's game, but in the women's game as well.
Oh yeah, we do anything for each other.
Good stuff. That's what it's all about. Well, thanks, guys. Again, unlucky in the finals, but you gave them a run. Obviously, you didn't have as much help, I think, from the university supply as they did. I know USF women, not as much of a powerhouse as UCF women, so I think that was a credit to you guys as well in just having having the season that you guys did. So best of luck next year. Hopefully we'll see you on the 7th Circuit sometime this summer.
Sounds good.
Yes,
thank you
very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
All right. That was an exciting game. I'm hoping maybe Charlie will spend some time over the next week putting some true highlights together of that game, if you can, from that field level.
I would love to have seen that drone footage. I did see a drone. Unfortunately,
maybe we'll show that next episode if James can send that in to us.
Not next week, Ross. I'm not going to be here next week, and you're not going to be here.
RugbyFL.com, rugbyfl.com/upload. If you do have any pictures or videos from the finals that we didn't get to today, we can try and get to in our next game if we have anything special. All right.
So listen, before we go to our D3 teams, I need to give a shout out to Valentina. Look at her. She got a custom made Love You Dad Rugby FL shirt.
Wow. Look at
her.
When do I get mine? When do I get my kids on even here?
I don't know, man.
True supporter.
And there she is. And there's a dog with a Rugby
What's
FL.
the dog's name
also.
again? We laughed about it last week.
Yeah, good year. I'll make that story.
That's right.
Good year. Big fans.
He's a good dog, though.
She actually sometimes asks to see the podcast again after it's done.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. You don't even do that.
No, I never watch the replays. I don't want to see myself again. All right. Let's get to our D3 final on the men's side. It was Brevard against Palm Beach, the matchup that everybody had been waiting months to see. Everybody sort of knew this was going to be the D3 final.
So let's bring our Mick Graham.
Well, there's Mick. While the score, I don't think reflected the closeness of this game. But Brevard had a pretty late lead in this game, with perhaps 20 minutes to go. But let's look at the highlights as we talk to Mick Graham.
Hey, Ross, let's say hello to the guests first. Come on, man.
I am. Hello to Mick Graham, our gracious sponsor from Brevard Red Eyes, the fearless leader of that team from the sidelines. Then we have the fearless leader on the field for Palm Beach, Drew Stubbs, who's joining us tonight.
We also have Jesse Owen. I'm not sure if he's there. Oh, there he is. Good.
There he is. He's got his phone the wrong way around, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Wait, this is the only way we can fit his big head into the picture, I think. Stubbs will agree with that. He does have a massive head. Is he frozen? Oh, no, he's moving now. Anyway, let's get to the highlights of this one, and then we'll talk to our individual participants as we go.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
This game lived up to the billing.
Oh, yes, it did. Absolutely.
Obviously, it was an 18-point game in the end, but it was a lot closer than that. The score, I think, some late scores from Palm Beach made it a little more one-sided. Oh, no, it was 22-17. Charlie's showing me. I'm looking at the wrong game. No, it was 33-17, right?
It was 35-20, right, guys? Because I screwed it up on my.
I'm looking at Charlie's scores that he gave me.
Oh, they're wrong. Sorry. It's.
I take back what I said about Rugby FL being the best local rugby team. I take it back.
We make mistakes.
Well, let's talk to Mick Graham. First and foremost, is our sponsor. Mick, tell us about this game, how it went from your point of view, and obviously give us an overall view of the season.
I don't know. I'm just trying to black it out right now.
There's drinks to do that for you.
Yeah, I know. I tried a lot of them. I think I had them all. It was obviously it lived up to what I think everybody thought it was. I mean, it was a pity it wasn't closer, but I we played really well in the first half and stuck to some pretty good game plan. And I think in the end, the Palm Beach boys were too big, too strong, coming down the home stretch. And definitely the better team won on the day.
Was that you scoring the first try there, Stubbs?
Yeah, my winger wasn't so confident that he could take the line, so he passed the ball back in. Luckily, I was paying attention.
Is that you wearing a 5? Have you graduated to the second row now? I know you're always known as a back rower, but
I don't know if it's a graduation. I think it's more of a relegation, really, at this point.
This is true. But Drew, give us a Palm Beach point of view in this game. Brevard gave you all they had, and which you knew was going to happen. But where was the difference in the end?
Really, it was like a tale of two halves. I don't know how Graham felt about it, but the first half they really put us under pressure, and we put ourselves under pressure. Caught a ton of whistles, ton of penalties. We had a yellow card in the first half, so we were down a man, and so we were really hurting. And at halftime, I just told the guys, like, listen, you are better than them. You got to play more simply. You got to play more simply. You got to get out of the rucks. You got to give the ball when you need to and stop these 50-50 passes. There's a nice break from Austin off Dendre. I think this ends up leading to a score for us. So we simplified a little bit in the second half, and that ended up just making the difference for us.
Good stuff. Yeah, I was to see Scott Duval refereeing there in the blue. I think I saw Roy Monk on the sideline as our fearless FRA president. Talk about this man right here, this big gentleman that Bo. I forget his last name now. I know he's been a big presence for you this year.
Bo Jackson's been huge for us just as a ball carrier. Just use him very similarly to you would use a number 8 like off England squad or anyone like that, just to carry the ball and be a number 1 ball carrier for us.
Yeah,
and he's just got a ton of speed. I'd love to slide him up the front row, but have a really, really agile pack. But he just does so much work for us at 8 as a ball carrier. There's a great score by Dwayne. Really, really kept the ball away from Dwayne this game, and that was really helpful. But he shows how dangerous he is right there.
Yeah, you can't let Dwayne Parks get loose down the sideline like that. There's no doubt about it. Well, Mick, talk about. Let's not focus on this game, but talk about the season and the improvement that the Red Eyes have made over the last couple of years. Really forced themselves as one of the top D3 teams in the state now.
Yeah, I mean, coming a long way. As I think I told you guys last time I was on that I feel like I've had a bunch of like Ferraris that have just had needed a tune-up. There's a bunch of good players there that a lot of individual brilliance that we've had over the last many years that just haven't sort of been able to play together for a full 80 minutes. So most of the games that we'd won in the past have probably come off a lot of counterattack or a lot of individual runs and that type of stuff. It's just good to see them being able to add that into their playbook now. They get some structures. I thought as I said, the first half I think we defended really well. I think our lineouts were good. We got absolutely murdered in the scrums, so we're just going to have to look at that over the off season and see if we can come back from that. But I mean, it's a good improvement. I mean, there's a bunch of older guys here too that we've had for a while that sort of been hanging on to try and see if they can actually do something with a lot of the starts they've had in the last few seasons. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be back next year. Hopefully they come back for one more run around the pitch, but we'll see how that ends up looking.
Yeah, I was going to ask you kind of what the makeup of the team was. You certainly need some big boys up front. That would help.
Yeah. I mean, we've never probably been the biggest side out there. The pack hasn't been the biggest, but they've certainly been pretty effective. And the back line, as I say, we've got a couple of, you got Dwayne. He's no longer the young kid he was. He's still quick.
Yeah.
And
you can still run though, yeah.
Oh yeah, but I think the average age of our backline last week was on Saturday was 40. So there's some older guys there, but no, it was good. We lost a few guys through the year. Joey Joseph, fell off one of those stupid one wheel things, whatever they're called, and end up banging his head and was in hospital for like a month. Thankfully he was back there watching the game on the weekend, so he's on the road to recovery now. And then a couple of other injuries, from some of the younger guys through the season, a couple of knees, a couple of elbows and that sort of stuff. So, I like where we're situated.
Yeah, I mean, this happened. I think it was always going to happen with such a tight season with everything packed in, especially on the men's side of things, that a couple of injuries could really, change the season. I'm hoping next year we perhaps get playing a little earlier, whether it's in November or December, and spread things out a little bit. So, 1 or 2 injuries don't really hurt a team as much as they could have done this season.
Stubbs, not sure what the answer is there, but the
teams just got to discuss it and come together and decide what kind of season they want. And it always ends up happening when they do come to an agreement. But some teams want to start in January. Some you would rather spread it out a little more. It's just going to come to a consensus. Drew, you've obviously been involved with some serious teams. You obviously went to Nationals a couple of years ago. Where does this team rank on some of the teams you played on?
I'm very happy where we ended up this year. I'm actually very proud of this particular game because we haven't played a lot of games where we've been down at halftime and we had to kind of fight back. And Brevard certainly forced that on us. They certainly forced us to look at ourselves in the mirror and really step up how we were playing that game. I think that unfortunately this year there's no national tournament and we've missed out on that the last 2 years. And that's kind of what I don't want to say upset about, but I feel like this team could have had a good shot moving through to the regionals, just as good as that other team. But I think maybe a little bit younger and maybe not always making the best decisions discipline-wise or passing-wise. So I think another year of growth for this team would be huge, and I think will be even better next year. We bring all these players back and really teach them.
Yeah, to go play at a tournament or something, and get up to either New York or Aspen and have some fun. I just had Naples are going up to New Orleans. Maybe a little tour like the Okapi boys did. That'd be fun too. But obviously, Sevens coming up as well. I know you guys are not the most serious of Sevens teams at times, but maybe you could put some effort into that this year and play in the men's division.
Yeah, that we have a lot of players who play for Stormers or play for other seven select sides. So I think that's really our time to decompress. That's my time to decompress as well.
Yes.
So I'm happy jumping in at Surf and Sevens for kicks and giggles, but my serious 7 days are over. Just like my back row days are over, even though Carrie says I should be pushed back out.
Well, Mick, talk to us about Hybrid. Hybrid always comes on and we love him. And I want to talk about what he means to this team. He's one of those characters that everybody knows, but perhaps doesn't know him as well as you do. So tell us a bit about Sean and what he brings to Brevard. Give him some love.
Yeah, no, he's the true heart of the team. I met his father for the first time there on the weekend. I said,
nice.
You produced some kids with some pretty big hearts there, man. I know he leaves it all. His heart's on his sleeve. You know exactly what's on his mind and when. I mean,
yes.
And he's just just a fitness machine. I mean, you tell the boys to do 20 push-ups and he wants to do 30. He's just that type of guy. And for the probably the stuff that no one really knows about him is the development side. We get guys come out for their first practice, and if we finish practice at 8:30 and the lights are still on to 9, he stays with those new guys and does some individual drills with them. Yeah, he's all that sort of stuff that goes unnoticed. No one really talks about. That's Hybrid for you right there. He's the true heart of the team for sure.
I'm sure he'll be suitably embarrassed by the love we've just given him, but I think he deserves it. He's a character and a real rugby guy. Well, gents, thanks again. Stubbs, congratulations on the title. Is that that's at least 2 in a row now, if not more?
Yeah, we had a break, so I don't want to really call them in a row. We would have saw Brevard last year, and I think they would have gave us even a bigger run for our money last year. So off the pause, but the three tournaments in a row for us so far.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys again next year in the championship game. I know there'll be some. I'm sure Gainesville will hopefully come back stronger again, and there's some other teams out there that may well think they can challenge you. I know Pelly's have been getting better over the last couple of years as well. Sarasota are never an easy victory, but plenty of solid teams in D3. Maybe one day we'll see Palm Beach in D2. Maybe D3 and D2 will be combined next year. Who knows? We'll see. They've been talks about that as well. But gentlemen, thanks as always, Mick. We appreciate your support, obviously on both sides of the podcast. And Drew, thanks for joining us again. And we'll see you guys either in the summer or next season for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Maybe Mick will turn on the lights next time.
Yeah. It's actually probably better for everyone watching now.
The lighting is matching his mood after that defeat.
Yeah. Hey, mate, thank you very much for your support, man. It was actually, let me tell you this, the big difference for us to be able to do this. It was like a turning point for us when you threw your support to the podcast. So I just want to thank you again, because this is the last time we're going to talk about you, until next season, probably.
Unless he comes back next season, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate everything you do for rugby. I really do. So
cheers, and the same to you, Mick. And if you need a 401k FL, you may even get to chat to Mick in person. You never know if you're going to be so lucky. But good. Appreciate you, Mick. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
All right, Charlie.
We're more or less on schedule. Just 10 minutes late. Yeah.
That's all right. Three games to go. Let's get to the next one. The D4 championship game on the men's side. It was Tallahassee defeating Daytona. I got this one wrong too, Charlie. I can't remember who you picked.
I picked Daytona also. I got them all wrong other than the Tridents one, I think.
We talked to Jared Lanza before about some injuries and other things they were dealing with at Daytona, but still a great season. But let's bring in the guys
first.
Jared Lanza.
Hi,
captain,
Jared.
The president of the Daytona Coconuts. Is it Daytona Beach Coconuts or Daytona Coconuts, Jared? We always get this
Daytona
wrong.
Beach.
It is Daytona Beach Coconuts. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just too long for my name there.
Yeah, it is the Daytona Beach Coconuts. There's a few teams in Florida. We're still kind of confused what their exact name is.
It's a mystery.
Is it just the Coconuts? And then from Tallahassee Rugby with the trophy in hand. Hopefully that trophy is in better shape than the Tridents one we have.
Well, so they kept trying to put it up behind the couch and it kept falling. So I was like, before this ends up like the Tridents one, let me put this down.
Well, I mean, every trophy needs a good dent. Who's joining you today?
Mine got plenty of sand and surf on Saturday.
Who's joining you with that sketchy mustache there?
It's not that bad. This is the hat trick scorer from Saturday, Damian Maradona, our starting hooker himself.
Maradona.
Right?
You're playing the wrong sport, Damian.
I played Little League soccer, but rugby's a little funner.
There you go. Yeah, you're apparently doing all right at it. As we see the first knock on the first kickoff. You never want to see that, but as I said to Jared earlier, the championships can bring out a little nerves in people. But let's talk to Jared first. Jared, you mentioned you were a little banged up going into this game, and you're an older side to begin with. So talk about how this game went from your point of view, all things considered.
All things considered, the game. I think the final score, was. I don't think it was completely indicative. I think both of us, Tallahassee and us, can agree. Like the sides, I think the talent for both sides was pretty similar. I think the difference that Tallahassee brought was they played as a cohesive unit, where I feel for, a big portion of our game, it seemed we were late to the rucks, and it seemed like more of an individual game. It's uncharacteristic for us, and I think, like you said, the big game, I know they say it's just Florida, rugby or whatever, but big games are big games. The guys feel that way. The road here, SoFlo and Okapi from South Florida, they're both, they're strong, and those games were hard-hitting, long games, and they were hard, and we got banged up. We lost some guys for the championship game, and, I was banged up with my knee. Doc was banged up, hurt himself pretty good. So we brought what we could, but I feel like we started off really sluggish, and Tallahassee came in hard, and they came in fast, and that lead they took in the beginning was I think a big portion of what decided the final outcome.
The second try of the game by Maradona, just like his namesake, with a low center of gravity, as all hookers should have. Gomez, talk about this game from your point of view. Obviously, the win was nice, but talk about the ins and outs that we didn't get to see from the video here.
Up until like the last 6 years coaching, I would release selections Thursday night at the latest, and you would know who was starting, who was on the bench. This year's been a little different, and we just find out the day of the match what the lineup's going to be, and so this Saturday was no different. we just played with who showed up. And like I said to Ken, it's the guys that's been at training, and it's actually been 2 guys who've been traveling every week to play with us, Kimani Archer in Valdosta, Georgia, and Tommy Perry from Jacksonville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, huge shout out to those guys. Tommy's been with us since week 1. He, for our Ocala home match. And it was funny, he showed up and I was like, oh, like, heck yeah, like there's our starting lock. Like that was what we needed. I totally forgot that I told him, that told me he was coming. And then Kimani came on about halfway in the season. Actually played on our U23 side as well, helped us fill out some holes in the back line. And we're super, super thankful for those guys. And no, I mean, it's only, at Thursday, at Monday's training, we had 14 guys.
Wow.
And Thursday was only a little better with 19, but though I'm almost positive that the 14 that were there on Monday were 14 of the guys that were there on Saturday. I think we were pretty fortunate. We have a lot of guys with experience. I think the average number of years playing is at least 7 for the starters.
That's good.
And the starters who are absolute rookies are, absolute monsters. This guy Ronnie came on about halfway through the season, and he's our starting back row, and he just gets the game. So we're super thankful for him as well. He definitely contributed. And yeah, Friday. Friday. As far as Saturday goes, you want to comment how the game went?
Yeah, let's hear from Maradona.
I definitely still feel it in my body. I don't know if you guys can see. I still got a shiner right here on my eye too. It was definitely hard fought the entire way through. Even when they were down, Daytona did not let us walk away with it. And I think many of the guys on our team can attest to that. They are resting and recovering, and it was definitely our hardest game of the season and the most fun by far.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we would definitely love to do it again.
Lovely kick here by Jared, by the way. I want to give a shout out to that. I won't mention the gentleman that dropped
Thank
it.
you.
It was a perfectly placed kick. And Jared, let's talk about Daytona and sort of where this club is right now. You've had some lean times and you've had some good times. Obviously, dropped down to D4, which I think the creation of D4 has been one of the best things to happen for Florida Rugby in the last 5 or 10 years or so. It's allowed a lot more of a social rugby for it to being played. But where do you think Daytona stands right now as a club?
Well, I actually wasn't with Daytona when they were above D4. I showed up here a little over, past January, in January of 2020. And so I'm not really sure. I know that there have been some pretty quality sides that have come out of Daytona in the past. Sure. I know that our sevens program has gone and been national and things like that. And right now, we have a very good core group of guys. I will say during the summer of this year, with COVID this past year, there was a point where it was me, and I'll say Jerron and AJ, and it was just us 3 out there running together. Gomez was saying they had 19 out. I don't think we've ever had 19 in any practice the whole entire year. So it's just the way Daytona is. It seems like it's a lot of guys that, they show up for games. A lot of guys, you get the same core guys at practice. I think where we were lacking this year, when other years we had a stronger presence from the local colleges there, Embry-Riddle and Daytona State, but we were unable to go and do our normal recruitment at normal times in the year due to COVID and things like that. So that's tough. Overall, the core group, though, is we have less athletes, but more rugby minds, guys that understand the game. The unfortunate part in that is a lot of them are older guys. Both of our props are, one is 42, one is 39. Doc is 47. I'm 37.
That's not public knowledge, Jared. What something you just said there? It's not public knowledge. Doug Brown is 26. What are you talking about?
We've got a lot of guys in their mid to late 30s and things. So we really, my first order of business in the off season is to get into those places. I've actually been hooking up with Ryan Forston from SoFlo.
Yeah,
I think we might try to start getting them up here to help us with the HBCA and try to get a little our hands back into Bethune-Cookman and see if we can't
nice.
persuade some of them to come our way, because I mean it's like right across the street, and there's
that'd be
tons
awesome.
of talent over there, and maybe get back over to the high school mainland across the street. I mean, we all know how many athletes come from that place. Overall, though,
100%.
where we're at right now, I mean, we made it to we helped shape D4 along with teams like Tallahassee. It is a bunch of teams that are finally becoming real teams, and I think it's really nice that we were able to establish a meaningful playoff, because you could see what it meant to all those guys. You could see what it meant to Tallahassee, what it meant to us, even in the semifinals, Lakeland, all these other guys, even SoFlo, Okapi, everybody. We really, really needed that this year after the past year of COVID, and it was awesome.
You hit it right on the head. I think what everyone needs to realize is meaningful competition is the only thing that's going to grow this game in this state. Meaningful competition, and geography plays a big part. So I'm really happy that Daytona's not that far of a drive from Tallahassee, and we end up just getting to stay at the beach.
Can't complain.
Can't complain.
No, it's great to see Tallahassee back in it as well. You guys obviously weren't even part of Florida Rugby when I came here, and then brought you guys back in. They disappeared for a little while, but how's Tallahassee looking as a club? Are we going to be sticking around now, Mike?
Yeah. Ask me again in June.
Come 7th season.
People of course are still excited, or talking sevens, but like I said, ask me again in June. That's when I'll officially start training again. I mean, we'll have the workout plans and stuff like that for the month of May, but I've told the guys, like, periodization exists for a reason, right? So the month of May is our month off of rugby. Go pick up another sport, learn how to do something else, and then bring that back to rugby come June for sevens. And of course, the sevens tournaments in Florida are a little far away, so we might be going up to hotter than hell sevens. I know our big boy Rob Leaks. You guys saw him run in that highlight run. I know he likes going up to that tournament. He seems to find the tri-zone a lot.
You got to make your way to pitcher tent as well. Chattanooga's not.
Oh, geez.
I've had my share of that one.
I just want to thank all the D4 leaders for getting together this season and letting.
Oh, for sure.
They all got together in a chat, and we all made it happen. And all the leaders that they step up to their teams, even when the teams are lean, and still keep churning along. It's difficult, and I want to thank Brevard for always helping us out when we needed a field this past season. Growing talent concurrently with confidence is a good thing, and that's what we're doing in D4.
No, I think, as I said, I think D4 has been a great success for those guys that perhaps have families or aren't sure about getting into rugby and just want to play a game here and there, go to practice once a week, and it's still very competitive rugby. And you guys put on a great performance on Saturday, both of you. Well, gentlemen, thanks for joining us tonight on the pod. Hopefully, we'll see you again next year. Gomez, thanks for your continued support, and we'll hopefully we might not see Tallahassee during the summer, but hopefully we see Daytona with their history of sevens.
You will see us this summer.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's us done with the seniors. Now we get to go to the young kids, or the youngish kids.
The youngsters.
Let's go to our U23.
So we have
the season's over, Charlie. So I'm going to say F it. It's FAU played UCF.
No, you can't say that. No.
The season is over. FAU defeated UCF. I don't get to say that much in many sports. It hasn't happened in football.
Okay,
it happens in baseball occasionally, but not much else. But I'm happy to say that FAU defeated UCF. I've seen two different scores for this game, Charlie. I've seen 22-17 and 22-15. But no matter
what else?
The Owls are champions of the U23 division. So let's bring in our.
Just before we bring in the guys, I just want to say we did invite the Orlando guys and the coaches. Evan could not attend; he had something. That's why we didn't have him at the beginning either.
Damn shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. Yeah, and I asked him to send somebody, but
that's all right. Listen,
it's all right. Yeah. So we have Steve here from.
Not everybody
FAU.
Can have the pleasure of losing to the FAU Owls.
Steve,
right, Buzz?
Bring that kid in, Steve. Yeah.
We got two rugby players. Now we have three. Well, Buzz is an ex-rugby player.
Yeah.
We also have this handsome gentleman. with his busted up eye, Spencer Gray, the captain and fly half for the FAU Owls. I'm sure nobody from FAU administration is watching this, so I can say that now. So, gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on a state title. It's been a while since the Owls have taken a state title. Obviously, last time out in 2019, we played really well. Didn't lose a game, but 2020, excuse me, things got scrapped. Yeah. And in the middle of the season, before we could face USF, who were the other undefeated team that year. Yeah, and they decided not to play this year. They were scared, clearly.
Yeah, that's why they didn't play this year either. They could have put a team out.
You have to speak up, Buzz. You're very far away from the mic. Just be louder. I know you can be louder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Buzz could yell, so it shouldn't be a problem.
So here we have the FAU Owls in white and blue in those beautiful flash uniforms. The socks are looking a lot more coordinated today for this game. I'll give you credit for that. After my warning last time with the UCF boys in orange. And Kai Martinovich, one of our best promising young referees here in this one. We'll talk to Spencer while Buzz gets his microphone sorted.
Can you hear me
Spencer,
better now? Am I good?
That's better, much better.
Okay.
Well, as we got you, Buzz, let's talk about the game first. We'll talk about the program in a little bit. Talk about this game. You obviously lost to them earlier in the season by a point or two.
Yeah,
things end up differently this time.
Yeah, much differently. We went up there. We were prepared, but like I said, we had a few mishaps and a lot of penalties that took us out of our game. But we went back to the drawing board, changed up our game plan a bit, and we took it to them. I think the main thing of this win for us was the defense. We smothered their back line. They had no answer to our defense throughout the whole game. At the beginning, it was a little slow start. They jumped on us, and we had a few penalties. But then once we got ball in hand, I think we pretty much controlled the whole game.
Yeah, it was a relatively low-scoring affair. Spence, how did the game go from your view at 10 there?
Yeah, coming into the game, we knew they're a very physically demanding team to play against. So over the past couple of weeks, we've focused on defense at practice. We kind of studied their game plan and knew that they were going to crash their 12 a lot, so we're prepared for that. And with their pod running, we kind of thought that they would really just do a one-man run kind of and not do any tip-offs really. So we kind of planned the tee off on them. On offense, we try to keep it simple. We really scored off finding gaps, just doing basic hands down the line. And if something opened up, and we had capable people to, take that opportunity.
This was a nice try here. Who's this gentleman, number 13? He just destroyed that kid at the end there.
That's Peter, our center, freshman this year. We have a lot of freshmen on our team this year.
Big lad for a freshman.
Yeah.
There's the Spence with the. Did you make this conversion? I think you did.
Nice.
Spencer was on this week.
I talked to him earlier in the season, and I think he listened. Right.
I took Charlie's professional advice.
I know he didn't learn his kicking from his dad. Well, Spencer's dad, Dwight Gray, was a very good player back in the day for Palm Beach. More of a destructive runner, certainly not a 10. As Henoch, who we saw come on the little blindside wing inside run on that last set up that last try. Lineouts got a lot better, Buzz. Lineouts were a bit of an issue last game in the semifinals.
Yeah, well, again, I benched my starting second row, my jumper, and for good reasons, and but brought him in the second half, which was a little too late. And by that time, our hooker was a little off on his throwing, so just everything fell apart on that. Again, UF definitely, we burned them the first time in the lineouts. They studied it, and they came back with a strong defense to our lineout, which gave us trouble. So we decided this time we're going to throw to the back, and we hit pretty much all of our back throws, except for maybe 2 throughout the game, which were very effective.
I don't want to interrupt you, Buzz, but we had the red card there. Do we see the red card, Charlie? Do we see the red card play? I haven't seen it yet.
Right after this.
Right after the kick. Let's see it again. Yeah.
This was at the end of the first half.
Peter Lawrence with a break.
There it is.
Yeah, shoulder into the face.
I spoke to Peter last night. He said it was the hardest hit he's ever taken. There was clearly no attempt to wrap.
I wouldn't want to be that face for sure.
He's got such a pretty face too. He's much prettier than his brother. Anyway, his brother, another accomplished rugby player, Philip. Anyway, Boz, talk about this is what, your third season now?
Yeah.
Coaching the Owls, and obviously, hopefully next season we'll have everybody back in again. As I said to you last night, there's probably some haters out there that don't consider this a proper championship, that consider you're missing teams, but you guys had to deal with COVID just like everybody else and deal with the precautions. And
that was a nice play.
Nice chip by Spencer there.
And you know what? We practices at practice, and this is the first time we've used this all year that successfully worked, which was nice. And it was a very nice setup that Spencer set up for Smitty going in for a try. But
all right, don't get into too many details, but give us your sort of where you see this program in it. I want to say we don't have anybody with as good as hair as that number 6 for Orlando. By the way, we need some mullets on the FAU team. But go ahead, boss.
We're only losing 2 seniors this year, and that's Shane, our president, and our flanker, and then Don Drell, one of our props, who's been pretty much out for the most of the season due to work and so on. But we
just
have,
life.
Life. We have everybody coming back, which is great because the chemistry started really kicking in towards the end of the season, and I can see it really picking up next season. And what makes it really more powerful for next year is we got 9 new additions that's already confirmed coming to FAU with experience coming out of high school. Spoke to their parents and spoke to the individual players, and that's great. And that's not even counting the players that are coming to our team from the local teams, Boca, Wellington, Jupiter, Cardinal Gibbons, and so on. So we're going to have a strong program next year, and we're not going to, let up off the gas pedal. This is just scratching the surface this year. Next year, we're going to take it to a whole new level, and we're going to keep on winning throughout as long as I'm the coach. So for you coaches out there,
winning,
you better get on your homework on me.
Yeah, listen, winning attracts attention, right? No matter how you end up doing it. Winning attracts attention at the college level. If kids have a choice of going to a school in Florida, they're going to see it. They're going to say who's winning at the moment.
Yeah.
And the FAU is winning at the moment. Hopefully, we'll continue to do so next year. So look at some photos. Where can they? Oh, these are Rick's photos. Charlie, you were posting some photos to buy today. Where can people buy these photos of the state finals? That was your photos though from Titusville, right?
Yes, correct. Well, just go to Facebook. I have a link there. It's smugmug.rugbyfl.com. You can find them.
If you want to buy any of these photos off Rick's pretty available. He's the Florida Rugby Union secretary. So if you're interested in buying any of these photos off Rick without the watermark,
I would actually recommend when you see a great picture, I have given my kids as gifts 20 by 30 pictures, and they look so awesome on the wall.
Yes.
So once you have the chance you have a professional photographer get a picture of you, just invest a little bit of money and
there's a good one there.
There's a bunch of good ones.
Wait, just not that picture of that kid's mullet. We don't want to see the mullet anymore.
Yeah.
And there's the trophy. There's the trophy that I got to hold last night at the FAU banquet.
Oh, there you go.
For some reason, they scheduled the banquet the day after the final. Thankfully, they won, so it was a good celebration. Boys,
that's why we scheduled it then. We knew we were going to win.
You knew you were going to win. Well, gentlemen, appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. We'll see you both next season, I'm sure, and then the 7th season as well. Go ahead, boss.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Zapatel Law Firm, Spine Orthopedic Surgeon, Arthur Dodger, the Elks Club of Delray Beach. OMG,
I was there last night. Cool place.
OMG Fitness Studio, and Go All Day. And, of course, Flash.
Yeah, Flash came through with those jerseys, and they look really tight. We'll have to sell them to the alumni now and frame them. Unless you're going to wear them in the 7th season.
That's a lot of sponsors, Boz. We need some sponsors on this side also. If not,
Boz works hard. Boz works hard.
We'll work out a deal for free videos, right?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you're going to find a sponsor to pay for your videos. That's the way to do it.
Exactly.
Now, listen, Boz, he makes these 70-year-old ladies pump weights all day, and then he asks their husbands for sponsorships. It's a great system. Anyway, cheers, boys. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you down the road here.
Thank you very
Congratulations
much
again, and go Owls! Hoot hoot!
Hoot hoot! 2022 repeat.
There you go.
I don't know.
Cheers, boys. Yeah, you know who didn't win a title this year, Charlie? FIU.
FIU?
FIU did not win a title this year.
Okay.
Just mentioning that. FIU did. We continue to dominate FIU in almost all sports. Not UCF yet, but FIU.
You guys are so great, man.
Good boys. Anyway, we're almost done, Charlie. Last game to talk about. And
Okay.
Charlie loved this result more than anybody. Well, actually, there is one other person that enjoyed this result less than Charlie, but I'm not going to mention his name.
Hey, Ross.
I just love to throw you under the bus. You know I do.
I would love to curse, but I just I'm not going to.
Curse in Spanish. Nobody will understand what you're saying.
Okay. So, and let's just say that this has been one of the most exciting U19 championships I can remember. It caught our attention all season long. Great games, you know. I was just happy when I would have to go and tape one of these games. No offense to the divisions, but these are the ones that I enjoyed the most.
There was so many great games this season across the U19 division. So many competitive games.
And also, I have to give a shout out to all the teams because I think I pretty much taped everybody down here. I mean, yeah, everybody. So that shows that, you know, the coaching staff and the clubs, like really, because I think the video thing, you know, it helps everybody a lot to.
It does.
You know, to improve, and so everybody taped their games this season. Looking forward to the next one. So let's just bring in our guests.
Let's do it. Peter's asking where you can buy it. Peter, I'll drop you an email or a text of where to get in touch with Rick Kabisky.
Yeah.
So we can get those photos. He took some good ones.
Most
All right, let's get to our folks
Rocky.
from Hammerheads and from Gibbons. There's Rocky Miaris, finally, third time lucky.
Hi,
Cardinal
Rocky.
Gibbons in their third straight appearance. There's the championship trophy. Third straight appearance.
Just for
in the
you, Charlie.
championship Game.
Thank you, man.
Charlie.
Let me get it.
Yeah.
If we could just.
And for whoever Ross is talking about, this is for him too.
Okay.
He's watching, Rocky. Don't you worry. He's watching.
Good.
So we have.
I'm not going to throw him under the bus.
Hey, come on, Ross. Let's do proper introductions. We have Danny Feliciano from.
There's
Cardinal
Danny, the
Gibbons.
fly half, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi. How are you doing? Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Victoria Sweet from the SWF Hammerheads. Oh, I forgot the L.
You forgot the L.
Damn, well, it's such a long way.
Swiffle is much easier to say.
Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
All right,
This is Reardon Sweet.
Reardon Sweet. I like that name.
And we also have Coach Colin Odell. Hi, Coach. Everybody,
Colin.
welcome. So let's.
Good to see two from each team. I like it. All right, let's get to the highlights. No. Whoa, Charlie. That was the wrong slate there. You had another team. Oh, what a mistake.
I didn't even see
He really doesn't like us, man. He really does not like us.
See what you started, Ross. See what you started.
Listen, I didn't start anything. I'm a true. Oh,
wait. No, but you know what? It's not the game. Wait. I'm
It's
sorry.
the right.
I'm sorry.
It might be the right game, but it was certainly the wrong graphic.
Okay, why don't you start talking a little bit, Ross, and I'll fix this.
I'm going to mute myself so I don't talk. Go.
No.
Yeah, that was very quick. I still saw it, but we have Southwest Florida in the gray and Cardinal Gibbons in their traditional red. Rocky, I'm going to give you one bit of grief here. Can we get jerseys with numbers next year?
I mean, it's just one or two. It's just one or two.
That's one or two too many.
Nah,
I'm surprised.
Makes us unique.
I'm surprised your referee let you play. But look at that one guy right there. He's wearing basketball shorts and a jersey with no number.
We didn't have any shorts that fit him.
Oh my Lord! You're a private school, Rocky. You have money. As Trey Brown with the first try of the game there. One of the, I'm going to say, sort of the three real stars of this team. Along with this gentleman who decides to try and, I don't know when you decide to let him kick instead of Danny. He's not doing any better than Danny, Rocky.
He was perfect on the season going into this game. He was like 6 for 6.
He felt the nerves. Listen, the forward's going to miss eventually, right, Danny? You should have been kicking those balls anyway.
Yeah.
So Gibbons with the early lead. Rocky, let's talk about this match from your point of view. You didn't know a whole lot about Naples coming in because you hadn't played them this season, and there was obviously a little bit of video here and there with the highlights. But where did you predict they were going to give you the most trouble, and did they? And what was the game plan for you guys?
We actually were able to get a good amount of footage on them, and they kind of did exactly what we thought. Their 13 is an incredible runner, incredible rugby player. So we figured they were going to revolve around him. And then they had some really beast forwards, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, those guys were, animals. So we knew we just had to put a lot of pressure on them, and physically we had to just put constant pressure on them and hopefully wear them down.
Luis Lucas, our referee with the bald head, you can always tell him because he's got those white stripes at the top of his socks too. But Naples tied things up there, and it was a tight game early, right?
No, they took the lead. They were up 7-5.
They were up 7-5.
Yep.
Here's that man again. That's different. That's your number. Who's that there?
That's our number
props.
1. Yep.
Always good to see props picking and going, scoring tries. Let's go to coach here. Coach Colin, talk about this game from the coaching point of view. Obviously, you knew a little bit about Gibbons and their sort of straight line, straightforward rugby.
Yeah,
what was the game plan to try and stop that?
Yeah, we knew they're going to be hard ball runners and aggressive players. So we really tried to play a different game away from our own because usually we kind of play the same way. Down a couple of guys, moving stuff around, and we just didn't execute really. It was a shame we didn't get to play each other during the season, and we kind of both would have done things differently and whatnot. But either way, I mean, they played well, and we just didn't execute.
Oh yeah, I guess you had a couple of key injuries, right? I know sustained earlier a few games ago.
Yeah, but I mean, we had guys filling that one all right, so can't blame that. Just didn't go through with the game plan.
That was great to see Naples back in the championship game. Obviously, a powerhouse back when the U19 division started in Florida. Let's talk to Reardon. Reardon, how was this game from your point of view? Obviously, you hadn't lost this season coming into this game.
We knew they were coming. We knew they were going to come in physically, so we were prepping during the week for that. But I think we executed our tackles well. It's just we didn't cover space well, I think. It's kind of hard to cover them though as well.
Yeah, you got to pick or choose one, right? You got to cover them tight, and then just hope you can get across and cover the space. I think this was a nice try here, right? Rocky spun it out in the end, and
I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't really remember. I'm watching this now, just like with you.
Who was the yellow card to there, Reardon?
Liam.
What position does he play?
Flanker.
He's your flanker. Okay.
Yeah.
So that put you guys down a man, and that was just before this try, I think, at least on the highlights. Let's go to Danny. Danny, what's your rugby history? How long have you been playing?
I've been playing 3 years now. I started when I was a freshman.
Okay, and you've always been a 10, or have you played other positions?
No, I played outside center, wing, a little bit of fullback.
So this was your first season at 10. It's a bit of a different position, right?
Yeah, a lot different.
Your job
he
is
still plays like a center. He needs to learn how to play like a 10.
Well, he'll learn. Obviously, big part of his job is getting to that man there, number 12, Trey.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Trey's not passing it. We know that.
He doesn't have to with the way he runs. You've got some very strong talent, and obviously Jaguares coming up. Aren't we going to see any of these guys on the Jaguares squad?
Well, the majority of these guys all go right into spring ball, so they don't really have any time. But we are Jack O'Keefe, JT Black, and Mark Finley are all going to be playing for him. So that's our 1, 3, and 6.
Yeah, Charlie and I are going to do an episode because that's obviously one of the downsides of the sort of rugby football connection is the spring football comes up right away, and when these guys are done with their rugby season, instead of going to potentially play competitive representative rugby, they have to go play football. And I understand the opportunities are there, to get a 5-figure scholarship to go play football at a college. Hopefully we can find sort of a happy mix. We're definitely going to have an episode in the off season about rugby and football and how we can coexist.
Great.
Let's take a look at this now. I think this is the Jack O'Keefe try here. I think he's a physical specimen. And finally, the Gibbons. Was there any difference in this one with the way you played, Rocky, from the previous two? Was it just a question of the talent on the team, or obviously the last two have been very close losses that I can remember. I know one was very close as Jack misses.
We played the same style of rugby from what is it, February 20th until the 24th of April. But what happened is our fitness got much better. Our guys started really taking training a lot more serious, and that really goes back to the staff and the players really having it. I mean, Coach Woody was huge, getting more involved this year, and then Coach Dan, Coach Vince, and Coach Sam. I mean, we've never had a more cooperative staff. I mean, we've never had 5 guys out there before, and we were having 5 guys regularly at training, which makes training so much easier.
For
sure.
sure.
We were able to break off and spend tons of time. And then the guys just took it real serious. They were sick of losing. You know, like I said, we're 0-4-1, and it's a real reality check. And they called themselves out, and they made the changes necessary with just a little bit of help.
See, Charlie, this is why everybody needs to make the playoffs in the U19 division. Charlie doesn't think that everybody should make the playoffs in U19s, but I think the more
That's only because we made it, Ross.
No, it wouldn't have made a difference. He just doesn't.
I'm
think
just kidding.
He just thinks the regular season is pointless if everybody makes the playoffs. But as I said to him, these kids need to play more rugby.
Exactly, and once again,
competitive rugby.
And we want kids to play more than one sport. You know, we got football players, we got wrestlers. You know, if we want to keep getting the best athletes to play rugby, it needs to be open to hopefully everyone.
No, 100%.
If not, I would have had wrestlers play 2 games, and that's not fun.
All right, let's go to Victoria. Victoria, I hear so many good things about you. Tell us about your role with the Naples Hammerheads. It's great to see you on the show finally.
Oh, thank you. I've been resisting Charlie's efforts to come on. I finally gave in.
We love to get the support staff on just as much as the players.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just say one thing before she talks, because if every club had a lady like this one, everything would run so much better, because this is the most organized person I have seen in all the union, man. She's like 10 days before checking things and making sure everything. So please, Victoria, I'm very glad you came on today. Tell us about your role.
Yeah, tell us about what you do, Victoria.
Well, I'm vice president of the Hammerheads for the youth, and J.R. Hernandez, of course, is president. And the two of us just sort of split our duties as far as booking fields, contacting coaches, making sure we have hotel rooms. Everything is, all the players are sipped, dues are paid, fields are paid, medical, food. We sort of split that up. It's a lot of work that goes into that. For me personally, my big thing is making sure we do everything ahead of time. So I noticed lots of things get last minute, and I'm not saying this as a criticism. In rugby, lots of things are last minute.
Most of them.
My big thing is to make sure that everybody knows where they're going, when they're going, and what time they're supposed to be there for both teams. And we had an amazing group of boys this year. I couldn't be more prouder of them. The effort they put in. We had an incredible season. You know, we like to play Cardinal Gibbons because they're a major challenge. I wish we had won, of course, but if we were going to lose to a team, at least it was Cardinal Gibbons, you know, and we've played them from the start. I'm just happy we actually did it with a full bench this time, even though we had a lot of injured players. But that's basically what I do, is just try to keep the insanity at bay.
Now, when did you get into rugby, or when did your son get into rugby, and what's really drawn you to this sport?
Well, I played. I played rugby. Yes, I did. 40 pounds and 20 years ago.
Where did you play?
I played here in Naples.
Oh, okay. And
way back when we had a women's team, 20 years ago, and we had it for about 2 years. And then it's so hard to get people to come out, but it's even harder to get women to come out.
No, my wife plays for Fort Miami, so I know all about it.
Yeah, so I loved it. It was an amazing sport. I was also a competitive rower, so I was doing 2 sports at once at some point. And then we got started. My husband played rugby, and we got my son started in touch at about 5.
Awesome.
And then when he wanted to play in middle school, and we didn't have anybody to coach, and we didn't have anybody to organize it, and he was really wanted to play, so that's what happened.
Well, listen, we appreciate the work you put in. I know obviously a lot more than a team mom. But every team does need a good son of team mom, and especially when they step up to be vice president, do a lot of the stuff that nobody else wants to do as well.
Oh, I know. And I wanted, if I could really quickly, I wanted to say thank you to all our parents who always chip in whenever we need anything and give rides. Our 2 medical people who are totally volunteers. I do medical as well, but I really don't know what I'm doing. Lisa O'Donnell, who comes to all our sports, our home games, she's amazing. And Phil Crombie, who's dad to Jared, who's our number 1. He also helps out a lot. So that when, I can handle nosebleeds, cuts, and things like that. But when we get to the serious stuff, it's great to have them there. And of course, our coaches and I want to say a shout out to Chris Spees, who has taken over recruitment and has made rugby resumes and organized recruitment calls the whole season.
Great. Good stuff. JR, I didn't call her team mom. I said she's a lot more than a team mom. Takes on a lot more responsibilities. Well, Naples, it's great to see Naples back as one of the good teams in Florida. Obviously, as I said, we're one of the best teams in the state when they started the U19 program. We had a couple of down years before this, these last couple of years, but now back as a force to be reckoned with in Florida rugby. Before we go, I'm going to get to one question for Rocky and Danny. I know Naples were one of the toughest teams you played this season. Other than Naples, who was the toughest team you played this year?
I'll let Danny handle this one.
Yeah, Danny can handle. I mean, he was right in the middle of it all.
Exactly.
He's the one who gets hit.
I'd say probably Okapi was one of the tougher teams we played. As well.
Yeah, you guys gave him a good first matchup, and then you tied Boca during the regular season. Just so much talent across the board. There's really no really weak point. I think any team in the U19s can beat any team on a weekly basis, and I think the 2 best teams ended up meeting each other in the final, and it was a great final. And finally, Cardinal Gibbons with their state title they've been trying for the last 2 seasons. I'm not going to say years because we obviously last year was a mess, but good stuff. Congratulations, Rocky and Danny. Also, congratulations to Victoria and Colin for making the championship game, and I'm sure we'll see you guys next year and see the Naples program continue to grow.
That's right. Next year. We're coming back next year.
We're coming for you.
That's right.
Victoria, we need to get a girls program going over there. Let's go.
We've been trying. Quite frankly, I'm a little old.
Not to play. I want you to recruit these, get U19 girls over there too.
But I would love to see that. It's just incredibly difficult to get, especially girls who are willing to go out, and it's it's extremely physical. So I don't know. We kept losing people right, left, and center after every game. They just disappear.
That's why you got to have that large. You got to have that large squad. And listen, rugby's not for everybody, but it is the best sport. It is the best sport in the world. That's always a great recruiting tool.
What about Gibbons? Don't you have girls in the school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I got my hands full, man. I can't take anything else, bro.
Well, hopefully somebody else will step up. Chris Ream. I think Chris Ream should start.
Oh, Chris Ream would be perfect. Yeah.
Chris Ream.
I'm sure. We'd love it. We'd love to have 2 teams going.
Well, guys, appreciate you taking the time to join us this evening. As I said again, it's been a great U19 season and a great finish, and we'll see you all both next year. See you all next year, I hope, as well, on the pod here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye. Okay.
All right, Charlie. We're done.
Hey, Ross. We said 8:30. It's 8:44.
We went a little over time, but it was the championship weekend, and no episode next week. We're going to take next week off. This isn't the end of our season because we didn't get started till the fall. So the sevens will be included in this season, this first season of TFRO. So no episode next week. We'll give you guys a heads up when the episode 32 will happen. We're not sure which night we're going to be doing it yet. But thanks to our sponsors, as always, Flash, as well as 401kfl.com. Be sure to listen. We bring these sponsors in the hope that you guys will utilize their services. I'm ordering balls from Flash. I know Charlie does stuff with Flash and 401k. How is your 401k, Charlie?
Mine, I can't find it.
Is it like mine, non-existent?
Yeah, pretty much.
When you're making all this money on the side doing freelance stuff, it's not always to get the 401k going.
It's not.
But if you want a 401k, get in touch with Mick Graham. Maybe I should finally start one.
So really quickly, Ross, because this is sort of like the end of this. It is the end of the season, of
the
course.
15th season, yes.
You know, I just want to give a shout out to my videographers, because one of the things that I think, makes a video podcast possible is the video. So, of course, the teams that contract the services, including like Naples, that, they called us a couple of times and we went over there. But it's also made possible because of the little crew I have that includes my two sons, Mateo and Tomas, and some other guys, Anthony, Kelly, T-Fat, Kevo. Because it's a lot of work to be on that ladder.
It is,
especially on the tournaments. Luckily, I don't get to do that and much this time around. But if we didn't have this thing in place, we wouldn't have the podcast to be honest.
No, and it's well worth the investment in taping the games. It helps improve rugby throughout the state of Florida by reviewing the tape and seeing where things can be improved. It helps refereeing in Florida because as referees, we look at our games and we talk to the other referees and see where they can improve. So that there's really not just one single benefit to taping games.
So it's been a nice season, huh? What do you think?
I want to thank everybody that came on the pod during this 15th season. I want to thank the wife and family for being understanding and
oh my God,
letting me do this project. And such a busy man that I already am. Charlie, thanks for all the help this season as always. We're going to take a well-earned week off, and then we'll be back, I think, after the first round of the High School 7 series, which is coming up on May 8th, I think, in Merritt Island. I think does 8th sound right? Or is it 9th?
No, it does not. It does not sound right. It's a late May. It's like 28. Okay.
No, there's one on the 22nd. Late May. And then there's one 2 weeks before that on the 8th. I'm telling you.
No, well, I'm not sure that.
Unless they changed it. This is going from information that was given to me by the FRU a couple of weeks ago, so it may have changed apparently. So.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is
us. All I know. Yeah, we're looking for some subs. We don't have any available. So listen, appreciate everybody checking out the podcast this 15th season. Hopefully you'll stick with us for some fun during the summer. And you can always check out the audio version of the podcast on any major podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Oh, Andrew's just handed me the 7 series, which has in fact changed, Charlie. 22nd is now the first one, not the 8th. So
well, if you had read the rundown, you would have seen that because I put that in the rundown. But
initially, there was a Tampa tournament scheduled for the 22nd. But yeah, we have Surf and Sevens on the 5th, and then every 2 weeks after that, basically. Fiji on the 10th of July. Sevens in St. Pete on the 24th, and then finishing up with August 7th with Barefoot Sevens in Fort Myers, which after that will be the end of our season 1, and then we can start getting ready for season 2. Well, thanks to everybody. As Pancho says, I do try listening, Pancho. Hearing and listening are two very different things, as you as a husband should know. And of course, thanks, Luke, and thanks for everybody that's checked out the podcast this year. We appreciate the love, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ross Davenport.
Thanks, you, Charlie Velasquez with S.
Okay, we'll see you soon. It's been a pleasure.
Yep, see you in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Andrea.
Charlie says goodbye, man. She says bye too. It's been a rough day here.
Okay, we'll see you around. Bye-bye.